About 10 years ago, I was the medical director of a day program, what we call a partial hospitalization program at Stanford. And it was for people who recently have been hospitalized on inpatient units, and then in order to transition back into their lives, back to work and or into their families, they'd often come to our program 7 hours a day for about 3 or 4 weeks. And we'd have intensive psychotherapy. We'd have a lot of group psychotherapy. We'd have occupational therapy. And one of the things, because of my longstanding interest in yoga, one of the things that I started was a yoga therapy group for these patients, most of whom had depression, but many had substance abuse issues on top of their depression, sort of dual diagnosis issues. And we'd have a group a couple times a week for an hour and a half in which we practice some of the simple postures along with a period of breathing, pranayama, and then one-pointed concentration, kind of the beginnings of meditation. And then we'd have a discussion afterwards about, reflection on what the experience was like for members of the group. It was fantastic. It was just enjoyable. And we did some real simple pre versus post measures of level of stress and anxiety, and found that after the yoga class, the level of the participants, the stress level of the participants went significantly down. Whereas if we did art therapy and other forms of interventions, it stayed the same. So it seemed to be specific. It's something special about doing yoga in this context that reduced the individual level of stress. When you're depressed, the hallmark of depression is to have a lot of what we call ruminations, a lot of obsessive thoughts, negative thoughts about low self-esteem, about inability to function in the world, about a future that seems to be shortened, and purposeless. So if you can, for a brief period of time, for an hour and a half, through stretches, through breathing, and through concentration, stop that, I think people feel some kind of alleviation of their kind of obsessive thinking.